You've met him before. Not in person, perhaps, but in the whisper of a thought you quickly pushed away. He's the man your logic warns you about, but your instincts refuse to forget. He's dangerous, magnetic, untamed, the kind of man who makes you feel alive and terrified all at once. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Every woman, somewhere deep in the hidden chambers of her psyche, desires this man, not because she wants destruction, but because she wants to feel something real. Today we're not talking about the good man, the nice man, the stable man. We're talking about the monster, the archetype every woman secretly desires, but will never admit. Every human being carries a shadow. That's what Carl Jung said. It's the part of us we repress, the dark energy we pretend doesn't exist. But the more we deny it, the more it rules us in silence. For women, the shadow often hides behind politeness, empathy, and moral restraint. Society teaches them to desire safety, stability, kindness. But the unconscious doesn't care about social rules. It doesn't dream of the polite man who texts back on time. It dreams of the wolf, the man who threatens her boundaries, yet awakens her deepest emotions. It's the same reason fairy tales are filled with beasts and devils who become lovers. Think of Beauty and the Beast, Hades and Persephone, Dracula and Mina. These stories aren't about submission, they're about confrontation with the forbidden, a woman's hidden desire to meet darkness and not be destroyed by it, but transformed through it. In Greek mythology, the god Eros wasn't a gentle Cupid with wings. He was chaos incarnate, a primordial force of passion that could make gods and mortals lose their minds. Plato wrote that Eros is born of poverty and plenty, meaning love itself is a tension, a hunger that can never be fully fed. That hunger is what drives desire. It's not comfort, it's not peace, it's conflict. Eros lives where fear meets fascination. And throughout history, women have projected that archetype, the dark lover, onto warriors, poets, rebels, and even tyrants, because he embodies what most men suppress, raw, unapologetic power. So who is the monster every woman secretly desires? He's not evil. He's not abusive. He's sovereign. He lives by his own code. He doesn't beg for validation. He doesn't fear disapproval. He is the embodiment of masculine chaos. And paradoxically, that's what gives him order. Nietzsche called this the Übermensch, the man who transcends society's moral cages. He destroys illusions to create new values. He is terrifying because he forces everyone around him to confront their own weakness. And that's what women, consciously or not, are drawn to. Not the destruction he brings, but the awakening he ignites. Most men today are taught to be agreeable, safe, accommodating. They apologize for existing before they've even spoken. They confuse kindness with submission, sensitivity with fear. But comfort never creates attraction. Comfort dulls it. Think about it. You can't feel alive if you're never challenged. And you can't be truly loved if you're never respected. The dangerous man doesn't seek to please. He seeks to be. He stands in the tension between love and power. And that's what makes him irresistible. Because deep down, women don't want control over men. They want to feel the presence of a man who can't be controlled. A man who could destroy, but chooses not to. That's the essence of masculine power. The capacity for destruction, disciplined by self-mastery. Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." Desire is not about pleasure, it's about transformation. The monster archetype forces women to face the unspoken parts of themselves, the hunger for dominance, surrender, chaos, passion, and transcendence. And when they encounter him, whether in fiction, fantasy, or real life, something ancient awakens. Not because he offers love in the conventional sense, but because he threatens the old self. He is the symbol of life's most primal truth, that growth is born in danger, not safety. Throughout history, the women who changed the world were often drawn to men who embodied this energy. Napoleon had Josephine. Freud had Martha, who both feared and adored his obsession with the human psyche. Even Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, and he described fortune as a woman. Fortune, he said, is like a woman, and to master her, one must be daring. He wasn't speaking only of politics. He was describing the eternal dance between masculine will and feminine chaos. The monster is daring. He doesn't ask permission to exist, and that's precisely why women feel both fear and fascination toward him. Now, before you dismiss this as primitive or immoral, understand this. The monster is not a literal predator. He's a metaphor for the unintegrated masculine force, the raw will to power that modern society tries to sterilize. When repressed, it becomes toxic. When integrated, it becomes divine. Bonhoeffer once wrote that the greatest evil is not in the monstrous act, but in banality, in cowardice disguised as virtue, in men who do nothing, who choose comfort over courage. And that's what society breeds today, men who are harmless, not good. But as Jordan Peterson famously said, a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control. Women, too, carry their own monster, their own shadow, the side that hungers for power, chaos, and surrender in equal measure. The dark feminine that wants to be overwhelmed, not destroyed, but devoured by intensity. It's why romance novels, fantasy series, and movies often portray the forbidden lover, the vampire, the criminal, the beast. He represents the unknown, the transformative danger of passion. And yet women rarely admit this desire publicly, because it collides with the social image of the good girl, the one who wants safety, stability, respectability. But nature doesn't care about respectability. Nature craves life, and life at its core is both creative and destructive. So where does that leave men? Trapped between two extremes. Be too soft, and you're ignored. Be too strong, and you're condemned. But the solution isn't to become cruel or manipulative. It's to become whole, to integrate the shadow, to recognize the monster within, understand it, and discipline it. Because when you suppress that part of yourself, you don't become pure. You become powerless. And powerlessness breeds resentment, bitterness, and quiet despair. That's why so many modern men feel invisible. They've amputated the very part of themselves that commands respect. The modern monster isn't a brute. He's a man who refuses to apologize for existing. He speaks truth when it's unpopular. He protects what's sacred. He's fierce in conviction, yet gentle in love. He's not controlled by desire, but neither is he afraid of it. He doesn't need to dominate women, because he dominates himself. That's the paradox. The more a man embraces his darkness, the less harm it does, because darkness acknowledged becomes light. Here's the uncomfortable truth most won't admit. The monster isn't just in men, it's in all of us. Every human soul longs to break free from the polite masks we wear. We want to taste freedom, danger, ecstasy, the raw pulse of existence that civilization has numbed. But to do that, we must first look into the eyes of the beast within us and not look away. Because what we call the monster might just be the part of us that's still alive. So the next time you hear a woman say she wants a kind man, remember, she means it. But kindness without strength is emptiness. And if you're a man watching this, understand, you don't need to become the monster to be desired. You just need to stop pretending you don't have one inside you. Because the world doesn't need more nice men. It needs dangerous men who have learned to aim their danger toward something holy. That's what every woman truly desires. Not the monster himself, but the man who has faced his monsters and won. And maybe that's the real secret. She doesn't want you to be safe. She wants to feel safe with you. And the only way to give her that is to first make peace with your own darkness. Because only a man who's danced with his demons can truly be trusted to hold a woman who's met hers.